UFC 305, Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya just ended, and this is going to be my post-fight recap for the main event. Dricus Du Plessis submits Israel Adesanya to retain his middleweight title in the 4th round by rear naked choke, and I knew this would happen. I absolutely knew this was going to happen. Who would pick Israel Adesanya? The second I saw that tear come streaming down his face at the press conference, I knew that Du Plessis had this in the bag. He had Sean Strickland sobbing. I was leaning Sean Strickland. I switched to Dricus Du Plessis. He beat Sean Strickland. I'm leaning Israel Adesanya. I'm picking Israel Adesanya. The second I saw that tear, I switched my pick. Nah, I'm just kidding. I did not switch my pick. I'm only kidding around. Du Plessis just finds a way to get it done. Let's go through it round by round, and then I'll give my reaction overall. But let me just say this right off the jump. This was a great fight. I really enjoyed this fight. This was a fun fight, competitive fight from both guys. So I went back and rewatched it after I did my live stream. If you care to see my live reactions, you can go check it out. First round, I think we're going to talk about the scorecards in a little bit. I'll pull them up. First round, there were some people scoring it for Du Plessis. I rewatched it. In real time, I thought it was clearly Israel Adesanya. When I rewatched it, clearly Israel Adesanya. There's no argument in any way, shape, or form to score round one for Dricus Du Plessis. But that's besides the point. First round, Izzy was kind of picking him apart at range, landing some good shots, landed some good kicks. At one point, he landed a knee that was kind of like almost a body kick as well that cut Dricus Du Plessis. There was like a good left hand from Dricus. Izzy was throwing good combos. And basically, you had Izzy just landing cleaner shots. And you had Du Plessis land like one or two decent, like big punches. And then the majority of his kicks were missing or just barely landing as Izzy was kind of getting out of the way. And then maybe I think one body kick. But yeah, Izzy was winning the first round, landing body kicks, landing good leg kicks, landing good combinations. It wasn't like a blowout by any means. I'm not saying that. First round, clearly Israel Adesanya. Second round, Dricus comes out already looking kind of tired. I'm like, okay, the writing's on the wall. Izzy's going to get this done. I wasn't like super confident because I said, look, Dricus always finds a way. But I'm looking at this fight. I'm like, the percentage, I was confident going in for Izzy. The percentage was just going up. Well, second round, Dricus comes out, lands a spinning back kick to the body. Izzy kind of like throwing some counter shots, but not really landing. DDP's really pressuring here. You know, first round, DDP was backing up and then blitzing and then backing up and then blitzing. Second round, he came out and he wanted to make a statement. He knew he lost the first round. In my opinion, that's what I think. And he came out and started to be on the pressure. Well, Adesanya tried to counter him a bit. Boom, DDP shot underneath of him, took him down with a double leg. Adesanya immediately gets to his knees, starts going towards the cage, and gives up his back. By the way, I think I forgot to mention, first round, DDP shot one takedown, easily stuffed by Israel Adesanya. So second round, DDP gets the takedown, gets the back as Izzy's dragging to the cage, and starts looking for the rear naked choke, and gets Izzy in a really bad position, kind of flattened out. And Dricus has such good fight IQ. I mean, I think he's one of the smartest fighters on the entire roster. But he was going for the rear naked choke kind of, and then Izzy's kind of giving up his, like kind of turning to his back, putting his back to the mat. Dricus would let go and like throw an elbow. So he landed a couple good ground and pound shots as well. And then Izzy finally kind of digs the hook out as he's getting up. He gets up. And I thought, this is crazy. Watching it back, I didn't think it was the same. But I thought either Du Plessis somehow gassed, or he was hurt somehow, or he like hurt a leg, or like something was going on with Dricus. The second they got back up, I thought Izzy maybe picked up on it or something. Izzy starts going after him super aggressively. Just super aggressively. And then I thought Izzy may have dropped him. Watching it back, even if he did land and it kind of looked like a drop, it didn't affect Dricus at all. Dricus was being aggressive. He ends up in on like the sloppiest takedown ever, kind of like almost like an ankle pick, but he gets to Israel Adesanya. Adesanya starts working his way back up. Dricus is dragging him back down and controlling him and you know, landing good shots in the clinch as he has wrist control, and he's kind of fighting with the body lock, and then he lets go and starts throwing some good shots, which Dricus is really good at doing. And basically takes him down a couple times, but never really gets solidified position. But he's landing good shots up against the fence. And then towards the end of the round, Izzy looks for like a hip toss. They both sprawl out. And it ends the round with Dricus kind of clinched up looking for a takedown. Izzy lands some elbows. Second round, clear as day for Dricus Du Plessis. I think kind of the second round and first round were comparable. In real time, I thought second was a little bit closer because of Izzy's barrage as soon as he got up after the first takedown, which that first takedown was very telling about how the fight would end because it's basically the same, very similar sequence. Well, anyway, Dricus wins the second round. Third round, Izzy starts to look really good. I mean, Izzy's super aggressive. He's ripping to the body. DDP's shelling up. Izzy lands a head kick. That's partially blocked by DDP. And Izzy's just kind of working him over. And DDP's blitzing, not landing much. Izzy's really working the body. And then Izzy lands a spinning back elbow and Dricus just eats it. Dricus has a crazy chin. And basically, in this round, DDP had like one really good moment where he landed 2 big shots. But he was looking super sloppy. And in the third round, like I thought the third round was pretty clearly Izzy, but there was a moment where DDP, I think it was a left hand. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me see. I have a couple notes here. I think it was was it a right hand? It was a left hand. Yeah, it was a left hand. Dricus lands like a big overhand left hook, and they're both like slugging it out. Like I'm like, oh, Israel's getting into a dogfight with this guy. Kind of drops him, but it's kind of similar to the second round drop for Izzy where I think he was kind of off balance. And even though the shot landed, I don't think Izzy was like hurt or anything like that. And then the last minute is Izzy landing combinations, ripping to the body. I scored the third round. I thought it was pretty clearly Israel Adesanya. Within the margin of error, though, for the judges, for sure. So I thought the third round was Izzy. Going into the fourth round, I have Izzy up 2-1. And we'll talk about the judges' scorecards in a second. Fourth round. For those who want to see me like, you know, they're like, oh, you cope because you're a huge Israel Adesanya fan, which isn't even necessarily true, which is absolutely hilarious. But I know they feel that way. They get really upset about picks and whatnot. So let them have their moment. But if you really want to enjoy something, just know in the fourth round, my confidence in Israel Adesanya winning this fight skyrocketed to about 95%. The fourth round was Izzy's... Well, it's hard to say this because it really doesn't make sense because he gets finished in the fourth round. The fourth round was Izzy's like best round. Dricus literally looked like he was about to faint. He looked like he had worse cardio than Braxton Smith in the fourth round. And Izzy's just piecing him up and DDP shoots in on a desperation takedown and Izzy sprawls him and then throws a kick to like the legs and body. And then DDP's looking like Herbert Burns trying to get back to his feet super slow and DDP's throwing and missing, and Izzy's landing teeps and uppercuts and ripping to the body. And Izzy was literally working over DDP in the fourth round. That's why I give so much credit to DDP, and I'm so happy this fight went the way it did, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then DDP, it's like he realized, okay, I'm losing this round. I want to win this fight. This is kind of a competitive fight. I could be losing. I could be winning right now. Starts chasing him down. Starts chasing Izzy down. He lands like a left hand. Then there's like a reset. Dricus takes a couple deep breaths. We're getting down to like 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. And Dricus starts chasing him down and lands I think it was a left hand. I'm trying to remember. Because I'm trying to remember the finishing sequence exactly. No, he landed a left hand. Then there was the reset. Then he chases him down again, lands a right hand that Izzy kind of stumbles. I don't think he was concussed. I don't think he was hurt here. But then Izzy gets up and starts pointing to the ground, right? And Dricus is like, okay. I mean, since when is if you told me Israel's going to be pointing to the center of the cage with Dricus and trying to brawl, I was like, oh, Dricus is going to win all day. So anyway, Dricus starts basically rushing at him, blitzing him. Israel tries to exit to his left, Dricus' right. And what I didn't pick up in real time but was amazing from Dricus is as Izzy's trying to exit, instead of Dricus just kind of giving him a barrage of combinations, Dricus uses his left arm to grab the hip of Adesanya, the backside hip of Adesanya, to slow him down and stop him from retreating. And he just starts slamming right hands. And then as Izzy's defending, boom, body lock, takedown. Immediately Izzy gives up the back. And we've seen this time and time again. Guys will try so desperately to scramble back up. They give up their back and they end up getting rear naked choked. We see it all the time. Just recently, well, not really super recently, Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. We saw it there, but we see it all the time. Dricus Du Plessis snatched in the hooks, snatched in the rear naked choke, and taps Israel Adesanya. Adesanya tries to fight it, taps out. Dricus just had full hooks in. I don't think he got the body triangle, and just latched onto that rear naked choke and finishes Israel Adesanya in the fourth round. Great fight. I absolutely love this fight. One of the best fights of the year, if not the best fight of the year. I'm trying to think right now off the top of my head. Main event-wise, 297 was okay. That was Dricus versus Strickland. 298, Topuria versus Volk. That ended quick. 299, 300, 301, 302, 303. This was the best main event of the year, for sure. Best title fight of the year, super high level. Dricus Du Plessis finishes Israel Adesanya. I don't know how he does it. I really, truly don't know how he does it. I know people are going to be like, Joe, you don't like Dricus. This literally couldn't be further from the truth. I like Dricus Du Plessis quite a bit. I don't know how he pulls it off. Now, before we get into any more, real quick, scorecards. Scorecards were horrible tonight. I'm going to talk about that in my full card post-fight. 30-27 for Tai Tuivasa. What? But we'll talk about that full card. I'll link that down in the description as soon as that video is done. But Ben Cartilage had it. Israel Adesanya 1-3, which I think is the right scorecard. Had Dricus round 2. Then Charlie Keach, I guess, had 1-2 for Dricus, which if you're going to give Dricus 2 rounds, I think it has to be 2-3. I don't think it should be, but I would say it has to be 2-3. And then David Leatherby had 2-3 as well for Dricus. So I don't hate that scorecard. I don't think it's horrible. I think it should have been 1-3 for Israel Adesanya. But ultimately, I think Dricus would have won this decision anyway. And I'll tell you why. Even though I was super confident in that 4th round, even if he doesn't get the finish there, he does enough damage. He starts looking for submissions. He gets close. I think Dricus in that last 2 minutes, I think the finish came. I don't actually have it. All right, I have it on my screen. The finish came with about 1:30 left. Okay, 3 minutes, 38 seconds into the 4th round. I think Dricus would have done enough to win the 4th round. And therefore, with other judges already given, 2 judges already given him 2 rounds, it doesn't matter what happens in the 5th. So I think ultimately Dricus would have won the fight regardless. And I just don't know how he does it, man. He looks so shit, but he's so effective. And I know people for some reason think that that's me hating on him. No, that's just my opinion when I'm watching this. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I was confident Israel Adesanya would get it done going in this fight. And the reason I'm so happy the fight played out the way it did is because I was wondering going into this fight, and I think a lot of people were, and I know people say, oh, this is an excuse for Izzy, before the fight's even happening. Izzy's 35 years old, okay? Izzy's coming off a loss against Sean Strickland. Izzy's already 2-time middleweight champion. Dricus is saying, look, he doesn't want to be here anymore. He's just here to, maybe not collect a paycheck, but that's basically what Dricus says. Look, I'm motivated no matter who's across from me. He has trouble getting motivated because he's already been there, done that. And there was definitely questions, at least for myself. Is Izzy washed up? Not completely washed up, but has he fallen off? Now, I don't think he's as good as he once was. I do think there's been a decline, but I don't think it's that significant. I really don't. So I think Izzy looked almost just as good as ever. And Dricus Du Plessis still went out there and finished him in the 4th round. And I'll tell you this right now, and I said this about Bilal Muhammad at 304, and people got up in arms, but I'm sure maybe they will, maybe they won't for Du Plessis. I think Du Plessis is 2 wins away from entering GOAT status discussion in the middleweight division. Because you look at his resume right now, it's crazy. His last 3 opponents, Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker. Those are 3 damn good wins. And then you look at the rest of his resume, I don't think these are great wins, but at the end of the day, they're not like, he's not fighting like Bo Nickel level bums. He's beating up Derek Brunson. He's beating up Darren Till. He's beating up Brad Tavares. Trevor Giles, okay. Marcus Perez, okay. This is a very good resume from Dricus because he fought a lot of good guys, in the last 2-3 fights. Strickland, Whittaker, Adesanya, that's a crazy resume. If he goes out there and defends the belt against maybe Strickland again, which I hope not, or the winner of Khamzat Whittaker, or whoever else, the UFC's giving out undeserved title shots. At this point, it wouldn't surprise me if, Marvin Vettori somehow gets a title shot in the next middleweight title fight, with Roundtree getting a title fight. But if he gets 2 more wins, let's say he beats Strickland again, and then maybe he fights Khamzat. Khamzat beats Whittaker. He beats Khamzat after that defense. He's right up there, already in discussions with GOAT middleweight status. And to do it with his skill set is just insane to me. Like, it breaks my brain. It breaks my brain to the point where I don't know if I can ever pick against him again. Because Dricus wins on physicality and mindset. This dude, he says, I'm there to die or take a life. I'm ready to die or take a life. And I truly, like, I know a lot of guys talk like that. I truly believe Dricus when he says that. So the fact that he's able to go out there, look sloppy as hell in a lot of exchanges, eat a lot of good shots from Israel Adesanya, and never really get like substantially hurt. You know, he ate the knee in the first round, and then eventually find the finish. I mean, you know, Sean Strickland is always saying to the death and war, and then he goes out there and fights like a little bitch. Dricus is who Strickland wishes he was. Dricus goes out there and fights like his life is on the line, and I just don't know if I can pick against him. You know, I may feel like, I definitely want to pick this guy. I definitely want to pick that guy. Because Dricus looks so sloppy and fundamentally flawed, I don't know if I can pick against him again. I truly don't. You know, people talk, you know, Pereira's kind of saying, I'm going to come down to 185. I'm picking Dricus over Pereira. I'm picking Dricus over Khamzat Chimaev. Now, maybe this is recency bias. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'm picking him over Khamzat Chimaev. I'm picking him over Robert Whittaker in the rematch. I'm picking him over Sean Strickland. I think he'll bitch Sean Strickland again and make him cry. I'm picking him over Tom Aspinall. I'm picking him over John Jones. You know, I'm picking him over everyone. Because this guy is truly ready to go out there and die in there. And he looks so gassed and so tired. And the body work of Israel Adesanya, the hooks to the body and the teeps to the body, and it seemed like Izzy was really starting to dismantle him in that fourth round. But every time, it's like a light bulb goes off in Dricus' head. And he did it multiple times in this fight. You know, third round even. Again, he started kind of coming back a little bit towards the end of the third round. It's like, oh shit, I'm losing this round. I'm going to walk this guy. I don't care what my body's feeling like. I don't care if I'm exhausted. I'm going to go after this dude. And I think what won him this fight truly is when he was chasing down Izzy. Izzy's so fast. Izzy's so athletic. When he's trying to escape, it reminds me of almost pass interference in the NFL. The way Dricus reached out with his left hand, grabbed Izzy's hip to corral him, and then just slamming those right hands home. That's what won him the fight, because Izzy picks up his hands, boom, body lock, takedown, drags him to the ground, immediately takes the back, sinks the hooks in, sinks the rear naked choke in. I've doubted this guy. You know, I picked him against Strickland, I did. I think I've picked against him in every other fight, at least every fight that I picked his fight in, you know. I think I picked him against, I picked Brunson. I picked Till. I picked Adesanya. I was going to pick Strickland. But when I seen that he mentally broke him, I switched my pick. That is true. I said that in the beginning. That is true. I didn't switch my pick for Adesanya. But I told you guys my confidence had went down. But ultimately, Dricus is young, in his prime. And he's out there doing it against all odds, man. It goes to show me, and maybe we'll end it on this. It goes to show me half your success in the UFC is just mindset. Half these motherfuckers don't even want to be in there. I told you guys this before. I came to this realization. When I first started watching the sport, you know, I thought, and I was pretty young when I first started watching the sport, I thought, you know, a lot of these guys were like, yeah, I'm ready to go to war and this and that. I thought some of these guys, they love fighting, you know, they're there. You know, a lot of guys, you know, play football and they're like, oh yeah, I love the sport so much. And a lot of people have this false sense that fighters love fighting. And a lot of them are just there. It's their job. It's like when you go to work every day for your 9 to 5 or whatever you do. And a lot of these guys don't want to be there. They're just there to win and collect their check. Of course, they don't want to lose. But I think a lot of guys, like, their heart isn't fully in it. You know what I mean? It's like they show up and they just want to be like, I'm not feeling it today. Let me just piss off and not get finished. Dricus shows up every day and he's an overachiever. He shows up every single day and he's going to put the work in. And he did it against Israel Adesanya. And at this point, I don't know who beats him. You know, before, and I still kind of feel it. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I still kind of feel it. And I said this before. I said, I think anybody in the top 15 could beat Dricus Du Plessis. You know, I remember a while ago, I was saying, like, dude, I think Marvin Vettori could beat Dricus Du Plessis. Maybe not Marvin. I definitely don't think Marvin could. But, like, I thought a lot of these guys have a chance against Dricus. At this point, I'm not picking anyone. Dricus, I've doubted him too many times. And he goes out there and just keeps proving me wrong. The only time I picked him is against Sean Strickland. Supposedly, they're going to do that rematch. That's what Dana said recently. I hope that doesn't come to fruition. Strickland doesn't deserve it. You know, all he does is cry and duck fights. Meanwhile, you have Dricus ready to go out there and fight anybody and everyone. Meanwhile, Strickland split decisions Paulo Costa and it's like, yeah, I deserve it. and makes a bunch of excuses and says he got headbutted by Dricus in the first fight, and that's why he truly lost. And the Canadian judges rigged it against him. I don't have any desire to see that. If it's up to me, if I'm making the fight right now, let's pull Roundtree out of 307, and let's insert Dricus. Pereira, tell him to make 185. Let's Pereira come back to try to reclaim his crown at 185 and become double champion. And I'm telling you right now as it stands, I would pick Dricus Du Plessis to absolutely maul and submit Alex Pereira at 185. 205, different story. I'd probably pick Pereira. Maybe not. I don't even know. But 185, I would pick Dricus Du Plessis. Great win. UFC 305 was a great fight card. I really enjoyed it. And that's it. That's it, guys. You know, I hope if Whitaker beats Hamzat, he gets a title shot. I hope if Hamzat beats Whitaker, he gets a title shot against Dricus. I think Dricus versus Hamzat is a massive fight. I think it's way bigger than the Sean Strickland fight in terms of pay-per-view buys. And I also think, you know, I have no problem with Hamzat getting a title shot if he beats Robert Whitaker. Now, he has to beat Robert Whitaker, but I would love to see that fight. So let me know what you guys thought of the main event. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.